So let's understand the difference between block, inline and inline block. First of all, we create two divs inside of HTML, which we can style later on. The first div will have the class of box1, while the second div will have the class of box2. Now we select the first div by using the dot notation for box1 and the second div by using the dot notation for box2. Let's say our first box has a width of 100 pixels and a height of 100 pixels as well. Let's give it a background color of probably blanche diamond, whatever that is. And let's just copy those properties and give it to box2 as well. And change the color probably to some yellow, like this. Now let's use the display block property to see what is going to happen for both of these elements. And as you can see, literally nothing is going to happen because the div element is a block element by default. As we already know from HTML, there exist block and inline elements, and the div is a block element, for example, while the span is an inline element. So what is the difference now? A block element basically usually always takes up the entire space available, and every new block element starts inside of a new row usually. So usually there are not two block level elements next to each other. So if we say that this is an inline element, for example, as you can see, the element completely disappears. And the reason for this is that you can't set width and height for inline elements. Usually an inline element takes up the minimal necessary space to display the content. Since we don't have any content inside of the box and width and height properties do not apply, the box1 element, so basically the div, completely disappears. So if I set this box2 to inline as well, it will disappear as well. So what are the options right now? What if we wanted to have both of these elements next to each other, but we also want to keep the block level properties, like being able to define the width and the height for the element? And in that case, you can use the inline block property right here. And as you can see, it appeared right here. And now let's copy inline block to our second box. And as you can see, we have two inline block elements right here that go next to each other once they have the available space, as you can see. So basically, inline block combines the best out of a block and an inline element and allows those two elements to basically keep the block properties, like being able to define width and height basically, while also having inline properties, like just taking up the minimal available space and allowing other elements to sit right next to this element.